Hello and welcome to the Regional Report here in Dublin, Ireland. On this show, I have Dan Hoey, General Manager of Merck Sharp and Dohme here in Ireland. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
Merck Sharp and Dohme is a huge company with significant presence all around the globe.
That's correct, yeah.
What's Merck Sharp and Dohme doing here in Ireland?
Well, Merck Sharp and Dohme was established in Ireland in 1976 with an active ingredient manufacturing plant. And then in 2004, expanded and instituted a global human health subsidiary here doing sales and marketing and clinical trials management. And then we've had two big expansions in the last 2 years. One for doing solid dosage manufacturing in the API plant in Ballydyne. And then just recently, a major announcement to install a vaccine manufacturing facility in Carlow.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the key things here obviously is that Merck has its manufacturing operations. That's the most significant part. We can talk a little bit about the clinical and sales and marketing side as well. But in terms of location, and when it came to Merck making decisions, obviously decisions at the very early stages 30 years ago may be beyond the remit of this discussion, but why has Merck continued to have a presence here in Ireland, and what is it about Ireland that makes Merck wanting to stay here and expand?
Yeah, well, there's actually been three kind of major announcements. The first was announcing Ballydyne as a commercialization site, a site for doing new product introductions. And the second was to do solid dosage manufacturing in Ballydyne, and then vaccines in Carlow. And the real reason is, I think the core of it is kind of technical excellence and the kind of technical capability and proven track record of the operation here.
So it's the skill set environment, the support that you get from the IDA and so forth?
Well, yeah, the IDA has always been invaluable in getting those new investments and in assisting the company in deciding where to locate and to help us decide how to do those investments.
So when people talk about the IDA, helping them do things, I mean, specifically, what things do they offer you?
Well, there's grant assistance, of course, but also making the case for Ireland. They're very good and a very professional organization in making the case for Ireland, and so that's I believe they would say their raison d'etre is to make the case for Ireland to the corporate headquarters. And so as we have the people that are involved in making those decisions over, primarily from the States.
Right. So they're largely facilitators. They make things happen for organizations like you.
Correct.
On a practical level.
Very, yeah.
So that practical level could include, as you say, grants, getting access to funding, providing capital for certain parts of the infrastructure.
And making sure we have connections with the educational institutions and research alliances and trade groups, making sure that happens, and facilitating the kind of entry, especially for a greenfield site. They would make sure that everything you need to get established at a greenfield site happens.
So it's infrastructure support, effectively, and operational support. That makes it attractive.
Absolutely.
The other key thing here in Ireland, I mean, clearly pharmaceutical manufacturing is one of the things that Ireland has been successful in. You mentioned this new facility in Carlow, which is a significant investment for Merck, not just simply in the plant and machinery and the processing and so forth, but also its future business. Its vaccines business is an integral part of its overall growth strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. Vaccines are a big growth part of the company for Merck, and this is one of the big forays outside the U.S. for vaccine manufacturing. So it was a significant decision to site this outside of the U.S.
So it's a risk decision in the end, and when a company like Merck is making a risk decision, it's making decisions about to use Ireland as a way of presumably mitigating that risk. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and one of the big risks that you want to mitigate against is regulatory, and you want to make sure that you have assurance of having good regulatory inspections and can license the facility properly from the beginning and do that right the first time. And so citing that in Ireland having that regulatory experience is key to citing it here.
So the regulatory issues, you want to overcome those, but also speed to market, getting the plant up and running. Does Ireland offer that as an environment?
Well, and one of the biggest advantages is again, technical excellence, and the kind of core of that is the education system. And so there's many third-level institutions here that provide good third-level graduates.
Right. As a multinational organization operating here, and you've got those responsibilities, you have other pharmaceutical companies. In addition to Merck, does the cluster effect here in Ireland help your operations?
I think so. I serve on the Pharmaceutical Ireland Council, and I get great benefit, and the plant gets great benefit from having an association with other big pharma companies. And while we compete for marketed products, we don't necessarily compete on a manufacturing basis. And so we're able to share manufacturing practices and kind of best management practices. And because the geography is small, we're able to do that pretty effectively. And so in my experience, it's been a tremendous kind of benefit to have.
It's creating that knowledge base, that common knowledge base is really important. Again, those are issues that help to smooth the way to achieving objectives. When Ireland, obviously Ireland's part of the EU, was the fact that Ireland was part of the EU an important factor?
It was actually. Inciting vaccine manufacturing here and having a base in Europe was a key part of that decision, especially again for the regulatory aspects of having that base of operation and being able to get involved with the EMEA.
Right. And as Merck moves itself more from a small molecule chemical-based company more into the biologics side, do you see Ireland as a continued operation for developing that biologics side? Presumably through the vaccines, you already are doing that.
Absolutely, and I see continued growth in the small molecules as well. In Ballydyne and Tipperary, we do small molecule, and again, we're the site for new product introductions there. And you're right, the kind of future of the business is large molecule and vaccines, and now with the base in Carlow, that's going to give us a great platform for continued growth there.
Mm-hmm. And if I was representing a major pharmaceutical company or even a biotech company who was considering using Ireland as a manufacturing base, what would you recommend me to say to them?
Well, I mean, the core of what you want to do is protect risk, and you want to make sure that you have success from a quality standpoint, and that the people that you hire are going to be the kind of have the kind of technical capability you want. And so the education system here and making sure that we invest in that in the future, that'll allow us to continue to have good quality technical people that can be responsible for running the plant.
Well, thanks a lot, Dan, for coming on the show. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.